Good morning, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this lab, we're gonna learn how to create and configure. We're gonna learn how to configure a standard VLAN on catalyst switch. So if you study for your CCNA, if you wanna be a network engineer, so it says configuring standard VLANs on catalyst switch. Lab objective. The objective of this lab exercise is for you to learn to understand how to configure VLAN, standard VLAN. So VLAN from 1 to 1 to 1001 on Cisco Catalyst iOS switch. So lab purpose is VLAN configuration is the fundamental skills. VLAN allow you to segment your network into multiple smaller broadcast domains. As a Cisco engineer, as well as in the Cisco CCNA exam. So there go the topology. So VLAN 10 is sales, VLAN 20 is management, VLAN 30 is engineering, VLAN 40 is support. Okay, so the first task in preparation, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up Packet Tracer and start creating our so bang, bang, right? Let's zoom that, bang, bang. So we're gonna call this switch one, switch one. Sorry guys, we're gonna call this switch two, right? Then, as you know, to connect two identical devices together, you gotta use a crossover cable, not a straight through cable. All right. So now let's read what we've been told to do on the first task. So it says on the first task, in preparation for VLAN configuration, configure a host name on switch one as well as the VLAN depicted in the topology. Okay, so what we're gonna do on one, let's pull the CLI, open this, and then we're gonna hit enable, gonna put it in the configuration mode, conf, conf t, then we're gonna change the host to switch one. And now we're gonna do VLAN 10, right? Name, as we've been told, the name of VLAN 10 is sales, right? Oh, yeah, there's a typo here, I'm sorry. I put names instead of name. Okay, and we exit out. Now what we do, so let's check this to make sure it says sales VLAN 10, 20 is management, 30 is engineering, 40 is support. So pull up CLI and do the same thing. Now guys, if you want to, you could just pull up out and just change the VLAN 10 to 20 and then do up out again and change the name to managers, right? And then hit enter. And now you exit out, you exit out Now, when you configure VLan 30 for engineering, like for engineers, you could do that too. Just say VLan 30 and just go up arrow until you find managers, and then you change it to engineering. I mean engineers, right? And then you exit out. You do the same thing for VLan 40. Up arrow, you change the name to support, right? Support. So as of now, by default, the Cisco switch or VTP servers, so no configuration is necessary for servers mode. We could use the show VTP status command to look at the current VTP operating mode on the switch. So task 2, guys, let's see, we've been told, sorry. So to configure ports, fast Ethernet 05 to fast Ethernet 08 as access ports, and assign them to the space, and assign them to the VLAN specified. So let's go ahead and perform task 2. We could do NFS. Let's let's X out one. So do show IP and beyond to see what we deal with. Okay, so it's past Ethernet, so we good. All right, so now we could say Ent F and we press tab. We could say from 0, it's called from 0 to 5, right? And then we could say switch port, mode, access, right? And then we could do switch port, access. We specify which VLAN that we want the access to be for. So we say VLAN 10. Now we X out. Now we're gonna do the same thing for VLAN 20, 30, and 40. So what we do, we could just do up arrows. We could change the 5 to 6, and then we could up arrow again. We could change the 10 to 20. We could up arrow again. We could change the access port to 20. We could, and now we pretty much done with this, and we exit out. Now let's up arrow, change the port 6 to 7, up arrow, change the VLAN 20 to 30, right? Up arrow, we change up the access port, we change the access port switch mode access. So hold up. So I should have done switch mode access, right? And then I do switch port, let's do 20. And then we up our, tell you what, let's do Let's X out and see something. It says do show IP and BR. So okay. So we could do, let's start this. We could do okay, so NFS 6, we could do switch port. It's about. So we could do switch port access. And then we could do switch port access VLAN 20, right? For port 6. And then we exit out. Now let's do the same thing. So that's a little bit. Let's do fast Ethernet port 7. Let's do switch port access. Switch port mode. To do switch port access mode access. I mean mode access. Then we could do VLAN 30. Then we X out. Let's do it for the other VLAN. Says 8. Switch port mode access. Then we specify which VLAN. Then we X out. Now, so on task 3, we've been told to verify your VLAN configuration using relevant show command. So this is pretty much all we got to do is just do, it says do show VLAN brief because you're in the configuration mode. But if you was exit out, you don't have to put the do show VLAN BR. So guys, as you can see here, we have 4 VLANs. VLAN 10 is sales, VLAN 20 is managers, 30 is engineers, 40 is support. And we have all the ports is assigned as respectively as we've been told on this lab topology. So thank you so very much. I appreciate you guys will follow along with me. Stay tuned for another lab for network engineer and CCNA. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you in the next lecture.